Okay, like
yeah, typical Nigerians, I guess.
You know, it's a mid-morning show, and it's the Friday edition. We're moving on now, and right about now, our next guest is in the house. This time around, she is a gospel artist, but well, she doesn't she's not in conformity with your idea of the average gospel artist. You will get to see her when you see her, and her name is just Theodora.
She says she's simply Theodora.
But you can't have the first name
without the last name.
Okay, yeah, that's so true. My last name is Imon, okay? But early on, when I started in music, I said to stick to only my first name, because as a lady, we do get married, and then people get confused, or you have to hyphenate with your maiden and married name. So I just said, okay, when I'm going to be a musician, I'll stick to only my first name.
Better. And how well has that worked for you?
Yeah, it's really good, and it's easy for people to remember, because Imonike is kind of like a mouthful. So you don't just tell them, oh, I'm Theodora. They just say, okay, hi, nice to meet you.
All right, then let's go into your chosen path, your music career. What inspired, what motivated you to go into gospel music?
I grew up with a very musical family. I used to tell people that up to date, my father had the largest collection of gramophone records. That's like when you're so he had so many of them. Then my mom was someone who was always singing around the house. When she's coming, we know she's coming from work, because right from the car she'll be singing, Jesus, she'll sing right into the house, sing throughout the time she's indoors. So my parents were very musical, and myself, my siblings, we just picked that up from there.
So now doing it professionally, are you the only one doing this now professionally, or? No,
my second younger brother, he raps. He is a secular artist. He raps, he performs, he goes out to perform.
Alright, now let's see what Theodora's work looks like, and we will be back shortly after this break.
It's like your problems have packed and come to stay, and trials seem like they'll never go away. Hold on, my sister, my brother, the storm will be over. Sometimes it seems like you'll never do well, can't find a true friend even in the world.
Nice one there, you will say, and that is a piece coming in from Theodora, and very nice. What's the title of that song?
The title is Kosi Ishoro.
Kosi Ishoro,
meaning no problem.
No more problems, no troubles.
All right, I was
that song.
I didn't write the chorus. The chorus was written by OJB of African Queen fame. Okay. But I wrote the verses myself, and I really just wanted something that when people take the song and listen, they can go home with it, they can use it, they can feel better. I always like to leave my listeners with a feel-good factor after listening to my music. I want them to feel like, okay, I gained something from listening to her song.
Okay, so that has a mixture of Yoruba language and Igbo language
English.
and English.
That particular track.
Yes.
Now, I was expecting your kind of, which part of Nigeria do you hail from?
State.
Edo State. So I was expecting you to infuse the Edo flavor into it. I wonder why that was missing.
In fact, any Edo person watching will be annoyed that you put it in there. But I grew up in Ibadan, so I speak Yoruba and I speak English. And so
And you don't speak your language?
No, I don't. Sadly, no. I'm in trouble now. I know. But yes,
right.
I don't.
Okay. I need to point this out. Even before she's here with our mom. And before we came on air,
No, she was actually the one who called her a momager. I was asking her mom
she's
was
a
a
momager.
No, momager.
Momager. That's
So
a nice one. That's a very nice one.
Yeah.
Knowing that, it's good to know that all the way your parents have been supportive.
Yes,
of
I'm
you
really
all the
blessed.
way.
I'm really lucky to have my family support me. I don't take it for granted because I know there are so many artists who complain of how their parents they support them, but my parents, even before my dad passed away, he would listen, he would criticize the music, this is what you should do better. And so I was really, and I'm still lucky that
So now, do you go for shows, live shows and all?
Yes, I
now
do.
tell us your first experience on stage, your own piece of music.
Okay, with my own piece of music, that would be, I ministered in a church in Malaysia, Redeemed Christian Church of God, one of their branches in Malaysia. And I was so happy. Actually, people were so happy to see someone singing in Yoruba. You know, when we travel out like that, we get so hungry for our language, and our language has so much value. So I was ministering Kosishu, and they just started joining me and singing. It's online on YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube. But that was like my first live ministration of the song, and the reception was really good.
Okay, now what inspires your music when you compose your songs, and or what inspirations do you get? Where do you get your inspirations
well,
from?
when I want to compose, I pray first. So I normally say something like, God, what do you want me to say to whoever is going to listen to this song? So that inspires me. Of course, I'm a gospel artist, so I take from the scripture. Of course, I try to use some Bible verses, but I also try to take from life. Other people's life experiences, my own life experiences, I throw it in there. Because when you listen to Kosishu, especially verse 2, I'm just talking about myself. Because I don't want to make the person listen think, oh, she's perfect, she doesn't have problems. I do have my own struggles, my own problems. But I'm trying to tell that person, I'm trying to tell myself as well that it's going to get better. And it can only get better. Because really, at the end of the day, that's why we listen to music, that's why we play music. It's just to help us make it through. Yes, make it through the day.
Now, taking a look at your sense of fashion as a person, haven't you been stigmatized based on the fact that you sing gospel and you dress secularly, so to speak?
Yes.
Because most people feel that as a gospel artist, you're supposed to
Exactly.
look drab and
Exactly.
tie scarf and all that. How have you been able to cope with the discrepancy between your person and your kind of music?
Actually, I'm really lucky because people don't get it, mostly the older generation, and I don't get offended, but truthfully my target audience is for the younger generation, and they won't listen to you if you look like a gospel artist. They just won't listen, or they will listen but they walk away and not recognize your music. So I understand, so I don't get offended, but it doesn't stop me from doing what I need to do, because the people I need to reach need me to look this way. So I'm a contemporary gospel artist, so I don't get offended, but really it doesn't stop me from dressing like that the next day.
All right. So that obviously that is one challenge that you have been able to know how to surmount one way or the other. Now, what other challenges have you passed through so far, and how have you been able to scale the hurdles?
I'm still scaling. Breaking that barrier of gospel music is a challenge. Even other gospel artists will tell you the same thing. It's just so hard to break that ceiling. They just feel like you're a gospel, like for instance, most TV stations or radio stations will only play gospel on Sundays. So are you trying to say that people don't need to listen to gospel music from Monday to Saturday? So those are the challenges we gospel artists face. But I also think it should, like, I want to say, ginger us also. Because if the standard, the quality is good, then even those TV stations, those radio stations, they won't have any choice but be compelled to play it from Mondays to Saturday. So getting the maximum exposure as a gospel artist is difficult. And then also as a gospel artist, you face challenges of churches. Oh, her own personal church is Pentecostal, so the Catholic churches, the more Orthodox churches don't want you to come minister in their churches. Or if you are in the more orthodox line, maybe your personal church is in the orthodox line, I'm a Baptist member, I'm a Catholic member, then the Pentecostal churches don't want to call. So you see the divisions in the denomination affects you also as a gospel artist, and really, so that is really the challenges we gospel artists face, because when the denominations affect us, but really, sincerely, we are supposed to be one. I mean, we're all claiming to be followers of Christ, we're all claiming to be Christians, we're all claiming to worship one God. So why do we invite gospel artists or ask them to come perform based on their denomination? So those are some of the challenges gospel artists face. You know?
Do you think it's just a Nigerian thing? Do you think this particular challenge is a Nigerian thing?
I think gospel artists in other countries are more united. Okay. But I won't say they don't have their own problem. In the more developed countries, the challenges gospel artists faces, people don't listen to them. The youths don't listen to their music. At least in Nigeria, young people still listen to gospel. I'm saying a gospel artist still has an audience in almost every generation. So we are lucky that way, but we have denominational differences.
Because of the kind of country that we find ourselves in, where it's a male-dominated society that we find ourselves in. Yes. Now, how have you been able to cope? Because is it like that too in the music industry? Is it male-dominated? How have you been able to enter and make your stay in the music industry, despite the fact that it is gospel?
Yes, it's also male-dominated in music, because as a female artist, not even gospel now, as a female artist, you have problems of investors. People don't want to invest, they don't want to sponsor. They have this mentality like, oh, okay, yes, she's not married now, but when she gets married, she will just leave everything and she won't focus on her music anymore. So you see people not wanting to invest in a female artist because they believe marriage will change everything. And truthfully, it does happen. We see a lady who is doing very well, then she gets married and she fizzles out. So these investors, these sponsors, they know what they are saying. But as a female artist, you have to keep telling them, I'm different. You know, yes, it might happen, but I won't let that stop me from, because they also will invest money, you know, up to millions in your career, and then you get married and you say your husband told you to stop going up and down to minister. So you know, so I get that. So yes, as a female, you have challenges. Then you also have challenges in the making of the process. Maybe you have a producer who signs you on to, or you sign him on to work on your music, and then because he knows you're a lady, or I don't know why they do what they do, they just run away with your money, or a director, he runs away with your money, and you know if you were a male artist, you wouldn't try that. So it does happen as a female, or you are trying to get your music distributed in maybe the outlets nationwide. So you are going to the marketers, maybe in Alaba, you are going to the marketers, they're telling you, yes, thank you, we know this is the amount, but you don't have to pay if we go somewhere and do this and do that. So you see, you get harassed also as a female artist. But a strong female artist must push through all of that. And that's what I tell any young lady who comes to meet me. I say, you have to push through all of that. You can't let those obstacles be an excuse for not doing whatever it is God wants you to do. You're going to have to push through, especially if you're a gospel artist, because then you need to pray more, you need to seek God's face more, because if you're a secular artist, you might rely on yourself. But now you're a gospel artist, so you just need God to help you open those doors, no matter what it is.
I guess you've said it all, and she has even given you that piece of advice. No matter what you are doing, let God set the pace for you and everything will be okay. We've been having a beautiful chat here with TeeDeeO. She's a theodora,
thank you very much,
a gospel artist. Thank you so much for being part of the program today, and we wish you the very best.
All right, now let's move on the show, and I guess we'll be wrapping up this part of the show with Theodora's music. Enjoy some more of it.
Conversation.